Hi everyone, welcome back to a new video. My name is Adesayo, and today's video is going to be around career checkpoints for every age. Now, career growth isn't just about like earning more or getting promoted or just making sure that in a company you are growing. You need to make sure that every milestones for different ages, you are hitting certain career milestones, and that's what this video is going to be about. So if you want to check if your career is currently on track for your age, definitely keep on watching. Now, the first stage is the 20s to 30s, which are basically called your foundational phase. Now, most of us, this is where we begin our careers. This is where we start working in a corporate organization or we start our own businesses. And there are four main things that are important here. Number one is what? Prioritizing feedback and mentorship. Here is where you really don't know as much, and so you want to make sure that you are consuming all the knowledge you can possibly gain. So you're consuming knowledge from your mentors, from your seniors at work. You're actively reading up about the industry you are in. You're just soaking up a lot more knowledge. And so what I think is very, very important in this foundational phase, if you're in your 20s to 30s and you're building your career, you want to make sure, always ask yourself this question: am I learning? When you think back, okay, I've been at this company now for the past 5 years. What exactly have I learned over the past 5 years in this company? Am I growing myself in my career? When I came into this organization, am I still the same person that, I came? You need to make sure you're asking all these questions, because if you don't get it right with the foundation, the Bible literally says, if the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? So you want to make sure for your 20s to 30s, one thing, prioritize feedback and mentorship. In my last video, I tried to link it somewhere here. One thing I did mention was, the need for a sponsor, the need to have someone, resounding, just how best to go about your career into your head at every point in time. And this will help to make sure you are grounded. This will help to make sure you don't make severe career mistakes that can go on to impact you in the long run. The second thing you need to make sure is you are learning the core of your industry. So whatever industry you've chosen to be in, whether it's business, whether it's finance, whether it's tech, whether it's art, whether it's music, you want to make sure you are learning the core of your industry. Most of us in this phase is you just graduated from school, or you're not graduated from school, maybe just a while back, but you're still very much new in the industry. You're still very much, the most junior in your career ladder. So you want to make sure that you're not coming with the perspective of, I know everything, I need to, I'm the best thing since sliced bread. You want to make sure that you are learning and you are soaking in everything your industry offers. The third thing you want to make sure that you are ticking in your foundational phases, there must be a clear career ladder for you in whatever organization that you are in. Now, some of us just go into organizations, oh, thank God I passed the interview, I now have a job. But then you look at people that have been there for the past 5 years, people that have been there for the past 10 years, and you can't see like a clear career ladder for them. There is no clear time milestone. Okay, over the next, from 1 year, you'll be an associate or you'll be a business analyst. It's expected that, year 2, you get promoted to this. It's expected by year 5, you're a manager, and they can't just see that clear career ladder in whatever organization they are in. I personally believe this is a very big red flag, because you then don't know if you are meeting up to expectations or not. You then don't know when you should, really demand for your promotion, or when you are not even deserving of it yet. Right? So you want to make sure that, number one, there is a clear career ladder in whichever organization you decide to pitch your tent in. If there is no career ladder in any organization today, maybe have a discussion with HR, and if there's nothing you can do about it, maybe it's time for you to move on to an organization that is quite intentional about your growth and development. Now, the final thing you should be aware of in your foundational phase is you should prioritize feedback, right? And make sure that you are getting good feedback from people around you, the people you are working with, your managers. You always want to make sure, if I was to summarize this whole phase, it's really about your learning phase. It's your growth, it's your development, it's making sure that every step you need to take to become the career woman, career man, career lady, career guy, career pioneer, whatever it is you decide for yourself, you are meeting those milestones at the set time. So the next phase is your 30s to 40s, which I have called the consolidation phase. And here is the phase where now you have more family responsibilities. You're probably married, you probably have children coming on the way, or you have children already. And so one thing you want to make sure in your career is you need to ask yourself this question: can I stand on my own? In your 30s to 40s, you're probably in your mid to managerial positions. Here, you need to ask yourself, can I stand on my own? Can people trust me with the work that they've given me to do? Can I solidly lead a team? Can I chair a committee? Am I, being a presence in whichever meeting or whichever place I find myself in. Now, this doesn't mean you can't do all of these things in your 20s. But in your 20s, people give you more grace, especially at the early point in your career. Like, you have more grace. People are willing to mentor you. They are willing to say, oh, it's just your first job or it's your second job. So, they are lead with you. But in your 30s to 40s, where you are leading a team, people expect you to be more responsible, expect you to deliver more. And so you want to make sure you're asking yourself the question of, can I stand on my own? Can I lead a team? Can I chair a committee? Can I own my space? And you need to make sure that you are literally doing all of these things in your 30s. The second thing you need to do is you need to make sure that you are diversifying your experiences outside of work. Think of it, be a leader. It's not just, okay, are you a good engineer? Are you a good editor? Are you a good technical person at your job? They start asking questions of, have you led a team? Have you chaired a committee? Have you, done something outside of work that shows that you can balance work and life together and lead leadership position? You need to make sure in your 30s to 40s, you are actively diversifying your experience outside of work. I don't think it's advisable that in your 30s, all the thing that is dominating your life is work and work and work. No, think of it. Where are you volunteering? Who are you mentoring? Where exactly are you pouring back into the person, even, coming after you? It could even be at work as well. Do you organize like a session, maybe an Excel training session for the new joiners? You need to make sure that you are showing the leadership team in your organization that you can perform much more than just your responsibility. Now, the third thing you need to take account of in your consolidation phase is you need to start building a strong financial foundation. Now, I'm of the opinion that a strong financial foundation should start being built the day you start earning your first salary. But it's fine if your 20s was more for, I just want to live my life. It's absolutely fine. In your 30s to 40s, now you have a family you're responsible for. You need to make sure that things around wealth management, asset building, diversifying your investment, building solid wealth outside of your salary is now top of mind for you. Ask yourself this question: if I lose my job tomorrow, my family suffer, or my family be stranded? If the answer is yes to those questions, then you need to rethink what you're currently doing. When you take into account all of these things, I believe that you're right on track in your consolidation phase. Now, the next phase is basically from your 40s to your 50s, which I've called the transition phase. It's very sad to say, but at this point in time in your 40s, you should start thinking of, what exactly am I going to do outside of work? What exactly am I going to do outside of this job, outside of my career? Most Nigerian organizations retire people at the age of 60. In your 40s, you need to start saying, if I have less than 20 years to retire, how exactly am I preparing myself, preparing my household, preparing my responsibilities in a way that I can live a very sustainable life outside of this job, outside of my 9 to 5? That's why I've called it the transition phase. One thing you need to start doing is you need to start thinking of, okay, outside of job, what exactly can I do? What are my other streams of income? What assets and investments have I built that will consistently give me cash flow even without this steady job? Here is your transition phase. Think of it. Okay, my children are currently in school. How much do I need to save up to pay for their universities? And how much do I have saved up? Like, it's a time where you are literally thinking of, what exactly all my investments, all my assets and everything that I've built, what exactly can they give me in forms of cash flow? And how much more do I need to make sure that life after retirement is all good? Now, the second thing you should be doing in your transition phase is now you need to now be more involved in volunteering, in mentorship, in other things outside of your job. Think of it. Do you need to start up like a mentorship program? Do you need to be an active volunteer? Maybe like a board member, a small non-profit that is, that just started. Here is where you want to start giving back. You need to start actively thinking about giving back, right? Here is where you need to start thinking of, you need to move yourself away from a technical person. You're no longer a project leader, is a junior manager or an analyst. No, you're probably like a senior manager, a vice president or something in your organization, which is good. Now start thinking of networking. Okay, what conferences can I go for? Where can I meet people, like-minded individuals like myself? What clubs do I need to associate myself with? And things like that. So recapping the transition phase, there are two most important things you need to be aware of or you need to plan for. Number one, what exactly would my financial life or my financial state look like after this job? You need to start actively planning for that. Two is, from this stage of my career, it's not necessarily the ability to deliver or to know that 2 + 2 = 4 or to be an excellent auditor. It's not about the leadership phase. It's not about your network. Here is probably where you need to bring in clients into the business. Here is where you need to, find new markets to expand into. Here, your network is like primarily what you're delivering to the table in your career. So think of it, what conferences can I go for to, build my leadership capacity? What clients do I need to bring in? Who exactly do I need to be talking to? What organizations I need to be a part of? And that's why your life should move on from I need to deliver on this assignment to thinking of your career holistically now. Thinking of your career as, okay, my career is much more than this organization I work for. My career is much more than this, non-profit I volunteer for. It's now my career. It's a sum of everything, right? This is what I think you should keep in mind in your 40s to 50s. Now, the final phase is what I've called the legacy phase, and this is 50 to whatever point you decide to stop working or decide to stop having a career if you choose to. It's called the legacy phase. And what's most important here is about succession. It's about impact. I'm in this organization today. I'm currently the CEO of this top tier organization, which is good. What's my succession plan? Who are the people I'm handing over to? I'm currently the chairman of a board. Great. I won't be here forever. What's my succession plan? How exactly has my life, my career over the past, if you say 20s, in your 20s, over the past 30 years, how impactful has it been? Both to me, both to the people under me, right? You need to make sure that the words like succession, planning, impact, legacy, these are the words constantly ringing in your mind. I've seen so many people that they built, if I was literally watching a video about previous prominent, it's not a politician, political office holder that built his career in the banking industry, and he literally got to the top in one of the major banks. But then he got to that peak of his career, and at that point, it made such a fundamental flaw that everything he built up until that point meant nothing again. At this point in your career, it's literally the hallmark of your career. Stakes are the highest. You can start thinking of it. Okay, I have access to all of this money now and all of this influence. What's your values? You need to make sure that you're not making decisions that can go ahead and just crumble every other thing you've built. Think of it. Impact, succession, legacy. And let these words continuously ring in your mind as you go into work every day. Here as well, you need to start thinking of streamlining. You are everywhere. In your 40s, you're able to juggle 1,000 balls. In your 50s now, you need to start thinking, okay, what exactly am I doing and streamlining it? You can't be the head of this and head of this and head of this and head of that. It's very good, but you need to start thinking, where will I bring the most value? What do I need to drop off for some other people coming after me? Right? Think of it. And you need to start thinking of this as well because of your health as well and your energy. You don't have as much energy like your 20s where you could be in 10 committees and you could do this and you could do that. You could literally be going up and down. You're getting older, so you need to start thinking, okay, first of all, right? Where is my value going to be the most needed? Where do I need to expend my energy? And just making sure that at every point in your life, in your phase, in this legacy, I feel for me the most important thing is not losing sight of succession, impact, legacy. That guides every other thing you do. I hope all of these things, just made sense to you. Whether you're in your foundational phase, your consolidation, your transition, or your legacy phase, make sure that you're just keeping track of the milestones you should be meeting at different points in your career. Now, what I've said is the perfect world scenario. I'm sure some people might have started their careers in their 30s. Some people might have started their businesses in their 40s and in their 50s. So just make sure you are really taking the lessons out of each of them. I don't expect everyone to tick the box at every single point in time. Life is not that perfect, right? But just make sure you are extracting the lessons from the different phases. And I hope it makes sense to you and you've learned one or two things. So if you like this video, please don't forget to like, comment, share with people in your network, people in your circle. I'm sure that they would as well value or take something out of it. Definitely looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.